Welcome back to the series where we are showcasing serial killers from every state. In this episode, we are traveling to Texas and exploring the life of the serial killer Dean Corll. It was a quiet town in Texas, a place where families thrived and neighbors trusted each other. But lurking in the shadows was a man whose charming exterior hid unspeakable horrors. Dean Corll, known by some as the Candyman, was about to become one of the most prolific and terrifying serial killers Texas had ever known. Dean Corll was born on December 24, 1939 in Fort Wayne, Indiana. To many, he was just another kid growing up in the post-war boom, moving with his family to Texas in the early 1950s. But beneath his calm demeanor, dark tendencies were already starting to form. His mother opened a small candy company in Houston, and Corll, along with his siblings, helped out. This would later earn him the nickname that sent chills down the spines of Houston's youth: the Candyman. He handed out sweets to local kids, a gesture that seemed innocent but would later take on sinister meaning. By the late 1960s, Corll was well into adulthood, and his seemingly kind nature masked a much darker side. He had become involved with two teenage boys, David Brooks and Elmer Wayne Henley, whom he would manipulate and recruit to help carry out his horrific crimes. These boys were not just accomplices, they were key to Corll's ability to lure his victims. With promises of money, friendship, or even just a place to hang out, Corll, with Brooks and Henley's help, lured at least 28 young boys and teenagers to their doom. Between 1970 and 1973, Dean Corll abducted, tortured, and killed at least 28 boys in what became known as the Houston mass murders. He kept his victims tied up in a rented house, using a torture board where the boys were assaulted and eventually killed. Corll's methods were sadistic. He would often bind, gag, and torture his victims for hours or even days before finally killing them, usually by strangulation or gunshot. Then he would bury their bodies in shallow graves across various locations around Houston. But like many killers, Dean Corll's reign of terror didn't last forever. In 1973, the very boys who had helped Corll carry out his crimes turned on him. One night in August 1973, during what would be Corll's final attempt to abduct and murder more victims, Elmer Wayne Henley finally snapped. After a heated argument, Henley grabbed a gun and shot Corll dead, bringing an end to his terrifying spree. Henley immediately confessed to the police, revealing the gruesome details of Corll's crimes. The police were shocked, not only by Henley's confession, but by the horror that unfolded as they unearthed the bodies of Corll's victims. Dean Corll's name is forever etched in the dark history of Texas. His crimes were some of the most heinous in the state's history, and they left a lasting scar on the city of Houston. Though Corll is gone, his story serves as a chilling reminder that sometimes the people we trust the most are hiding the darkest secrets. If you think this story was chilling, stay tuned for the next episode in our series on America's most notorious serial killers. And remember, the worst monsters aren't always lurking in the shadows, they're sometimes standing right next to us.